Hey there guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Less Than Average Gaming. On Friday, Blizzard launched a new patch onto the PTR service featuring a new game mode or two, namely Deathmatch or Free-for-All as you might know it, and Team Deathmatch. They also included a new map, Chateau Guillard, I believe it's called, which is specifically designed for those new game modes. They also added a number of new balance changes, which is what we're going to talk about today. Footage of the new map and deathmatch will play in the background, but I was playing at 150 ping the whole time, and it was actually my first look at the map, so don't judge too harshly. Anyway, on to the balance changes. Firstly, Junkrat received the changes we talked about in the previous video. He was given 2 concussion mines, which allows him to do some pretty insane burst damage, as well as being able to reach heights and places he never could before with a triple jump now, which is a pretty interesting change. Also, his ultimate rip tire is also 30% faster now, meaning you'll be able to control the tire more quickly than before, reducing the time Junkrat is vulnerable while using it. These changes have received some pretty negative feedback so far, with most people saying that this is a little bit too overpowered, as he can now just spam out 2 mines very quickly, killing all of the 200 health heroes. I figured that they would reduce the damage of the mines slightly to about 90 to compensate for the second mine, and this change might go in and be revised in the future if it is deemed to be too strong. There is also no time limit on Riptire when it's wall climbing, so if you decide to climb up a wall and there's 6 seconds left while you're climbing up the wall, it'll still hold it at 6 seconds, which is a nice change too. We will have to wait and see, however, how this does affect the other heroes in the game, as it does seem pretty strong right now. Moving on to the Orisa changes, her projectile speed has been increased by 20%, meaning that she can shoot much faster than she could before. Her barrier has also seen a size increase of 20% and a slight shape change to provide more coverage from enemies that are below the barrier. The example that was given for this was if it was on a slope, say on some stairs or on a payload, it'll allow you to protect your teammates more from below, so stuff like that is actually pretty good now. These changes do make Orisa more effective at dealing damage at medium range, and it makes you easier to track targets with the gun, and it'll also allow her to protect her teammates more effectively. Her shield is now about the same size as a Reinhardt shield, and when it recharges more quickly than a Rein shield, this actually makes it pretty good. Overall, this is another pretty interesting change. I have felt that Orisa does get her barrier too quickly in certain situations, particularly on a map like Horizon Lunar Colony, in which she can just take hold of the high ground and just keep dumping out barriers on the high ground, and makes it even harder to take. Now with these barriers being much larger than they were before, this will even protect her better than she could before. This does, however, make the barrier easier to hit than before, I guess, not that hitting it was ever a problem. Next, we finally actually got our Roadhog buffs. He can now move while using Take a Breather, and he also takes 50% reduced damage when using it. According to the developer comments on this one, these changes help Roadhog be much more aggressive when looking for hook targets or blocking for his team. Is this going to save the position he's in? Is he going to be usable now? As I mentioned in the previous video, we talked about this, probably not. Sure, he can face tank more damage more effectively now, but is that really protecting his team? It's just him taking damage, being an ult battery for the enemy team. Roadhog's main reason to be picked before was eliminating an enemy threat before they could do any real damage to your team, and with his hook combo still unreliable at best, he still can't fill that role. He has, however, been seeing a slight amount of use in high levels of play, as he's able to hook a target for his teammate to burst down, which is probably what Blizzard intends to do, or to have him do, and that they might see that as his role now, but that does work in coordinated matches, but I'm sure that in pub games or quick play games, that's just never going to happen. That's completely unrealistic in something that's unorganized like that. So we will wait and see how this does affect Roadhog, because I'm still not sure if this one makes him actually any good or not. And lastly, we do have some probably unexpected changes to Widowmaker. Her grappling hook cooldown was reduced by 4 seconds from 12 to 8, allowing her to move around the map much more freely than before. Also, when triggered, her Venom Mine will also reveal targets to you, only you, through walls, similar to Sonic Arrow or her ultimate. And as I mentioned, only you can see this, no one else can see this on your team. Straight up, this is a good Widowmaker buff. The hook change allows her to take up new positions more frequently, or allow her to escape being dived more effectively, and her mine change also allows her to protect herself from a flank, given you've got your mine in the right spot and can hit the shot on, say, the Tracer trying to flank you from behind. This is good, but won't really make that much of a difference to anyone but like high-level pros, as they'll be able to portray that information to their team. Oh, the Tracer's flanking behind, she's back here, I'll look after it. Because any Widowmaker who's worth their salt is just going to be able to shoot the flanking Tracer anyway without being able to see them, or they're just going to hit the shot regardless of whether they can see them through the wall or not. It'll just make it slightly easier. And the hook change will definitely make a difference for sure. That's a good one. I do like that change, allowing her to be more free in all of her movements. It was also a pretty significant number of bug fixes, which I will leave a link to in the description to the patch notes if you do want to read them all for yourself. Anyway guys, that is all the changes in this PTR update. Hopefully most of these changes go through. They'll buff some niche characters, hopefully making them more playable in whatever meta evolves from the Doomfist update. Thank you very much for watching this. If you did enjoy it, make sure you do leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here. It would really help me out and I would very much appreciate it. This has been Luke from Less Than Average Gaming, and I hope you guys have an above average day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!